Would you like to buy real estate in 2023 using none or very little of your own money?
Just because I have money doesn't mean I'm going to use it to buy real estate. In fact, I built my entire portfolio with less than $3,300.
You can get started in real estate with no out-of-pocket money.
Hey, I'm Charlie Yarber with Fixated Real Estate, and today I'm going to go over with you how I've been able to buy real estate with little to none of my own money throughout my entire career.
In the game of real estate, that's especially true. There's 5 really great methods for acquiring real estate with no money whatsoever.
And throughout doing all those deals, I've been able to leverage other people's money, OPM.
Other people's money, OPM.
I even wrote a book called The Book on Investing in Real Estate with No and Low Money Down.
We need to talk about an uncomfortable truth that most people don't highlight when it comes to getting started investing in real estate, and that's how to actually buy your first rental property. There's so many videos out there talking about how to buy real estate with no money down, with zero money down, with low money. And this is an incredibly attractive idea that's perpetuated upon new people looking to get started investing, because they understand that a lot of new people looking to move into real estate don't have any money, or they have very little money, maybe a few hundred, even just $1,000, $2,000. And so the big real estate education conglomerates like BiggerPockets, or like some of the more famous brand names out there like Grant Cardone, Ryan Pineda, Chris Crone, Robert Kiyosaki, and on and on and on, they say to themselves, how do I market a product to this individual who doesn't have enough money to invest with me, but might have enough money to buy a course from me, or buy a book from me, or buy a mentorship program from me? And so what they tell you is a lie, and it's salacious in nature. You can buy real estate with other people's money. You've probably heard the term OPM, other people's money. You can buy real estate with zero down. You can get started investing without any money at all. And that's true. You can. But what they fail to tell you is the entire picture, the entire truth, and oftentimes their own backstory, which is the fact that most of the content creators in the bigger conglomerates like BiggerPockets that I talked about didn't buy their first, second, or third deals with no money. They didn't buy it with other people's money, unless we're talking about the bank and the loan being other people's money. They bought it with their own hard-earned, saved-up cash. And it wasn't until significantly farther down the line that they made the network, and they built the connections, and they understood enough about the game that they could actually start purchasing real estate with zero or low money down, and actually do what they're now trying to sell you on, which is how to get started investing in real estate with little to no money down. It's a very enticing, catchy title for a video, concept for a book, or idea to represent to people who have enough money to buy a course, but does it actually work out in practice? So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the truth, the reality behind getting started investing in real estate, and what it actually takes to buy your first rental property. Now, for those of you out there who aren't familiar with me or my channel, let me give you a brief introduction to me, so you know I'm not just some idiot who's talking out of nowhere. I own 15 rental units, and I have a 6-unit building under contract right now, which will bring me up to 21. I've been purchasing real estate for over 5 years. I own in 3 different states. I've purchased turnkey. I've done seller financing. I've done creative financing. I've done traditional bank loans. I've done the BRRRR strategy. I've used a HELOC to buy rental properties and cashed out and paid myself back. I've been investing in real estate for a while. I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I never consider myself an expert, but I certainly have a decent amount of experience. And these people are right when they say you can buy real estate with zero money down. I've done it. You can buy real estate with other people's money. I've done it. But they don't give you the whole picture. And the reason they don't is because they want you to buy their products and invest in yourself is the best investment you can make. They're not wrong. They just never tell you the whole truth. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to start by talking about whether or not you actually can invest in real estate with none of your own money. A lot of these gurus and their programs will tell you that what you need to do is you need to go to your family and friends, and you need to use that private money to buy real estate. And this is a strategy that you should look to incorporate when you have experience. The reason for this video today, what prompted me to make it, was I was recently on a live stream for a very successful real estate content creator named Michael Zuber, who has the YouTube channel One Rental at a Time. He was asking me to speak to the students of his real estate investing course. And one of the questions that came up was, how can I get started with no money? Can I borrow money from friends and family? To which I said, you haven't earned the right to borrow someone else's money. You don't know what you're doing. And I understand this is unpopular. I understand it's controversial compared to the advice you'd get from Bigger Pockets or other people out there, but it's the truth. You don't know what you're doing. Sure, you've read a few books. You've watched some podcasts. You have an idea behind how the theory of investing in real estate works, but you have yet to provide anybody with proof of concept, least of all yourself. You have not actually put your skin in the game and figured out if you can do what you think you can in this market with these properties at this time in history. And so when you go to your family and say, lend me money, mom, dad, brother, sister, rich aunt, uncle, whoever it might be, you are taking a serious gamble with their money, and that money might be very important to their life. Now, some people have questionable morals, or they're a little bit more loose with their risk tolerance, and they're willing to do things like this. But I implore you, before you borrow grandma's hard-earned life savings and invest it into a dead-end BRRRR strategy flip in a city no one wants to buy in, that you can't possibly get the after-repair value you need to make this thing feasible, do some more research. Now, the reality is, the truth that most people don't want to hear is that when it comes to buying their first rental property, it should be on them, on you. And what do I mean by that? What do you actually need to buy your first rental property? So what you need to get started actually investing in real estate is a job. As much as you might hate hearing that, as uncomfortable as it might be, as much as you might want to invest in real estate so that you can give up your job, banks and lenders love a very simple, very consistent 9-to-5 job where they can count on income to pay back the loan they're going to give you. You need a job. You need credit. And I know Dave Ramsey, if he could hear me, would be striking me with a thunderbolt of anti-debt philosophy, but he's wrong. If you want to qualify for a mortgage, you want to qualify for the best interest rates, you need some credit. So make sure that your credit is reasonable. We're looking for like 700 and above to get the best interest rates. I believe the best interest rate is actually 740 and above. That's what you're going to want. Second, you need to save a down payment. If you haven't saved the down payment, you're not going to be able to buy anything. And this is where people get frustrated. Well, can I borrow the down payment? What if I don't have the money for it? You need to work more. That's what I did. I spent 6 months working every piece of overtime that my job provided for me. I lived significantly beneath my means, saved the difference, and then when I had enough to buy my very first rental property, this house hack where I still live, and rent out the other side, that's when I had enough money to move forward and actually buy real estate, but it was my money, my risk. So you need the credit, you need the down payment, you need to get a pre-qualification letter, which means you need to talk to lenders. This is other people's money. Yes, you're using the bank's money, but the bank's going to look at your credit history. They're going to look at to see if you actually have a cash amount necessary to cover some mortgage payments, and they're going to need you to have a down payment because they're not going to pay 100% of the rental property. They're going to require a 20 or 25% down payment from you. So you have to save the money, you have to work with the lender, you have to get the pre-qualification letter. Next, you need to get educated in your market. You need to actually be able to go out there and explain and articulate what a good deal is. So you need to look at your market for 90 days. You need to run the numbers on multiple different rental properties and say, this one generates $100 a month in cash flow. This one generates $500 a month in cash flow. But this one's cheaper, this one's more expensive. The yield between the two, we have a cash-on-cash return of 12% here and 8% here. You need to understand these terms and be able to articulate what an average deal in your market is, what a good deal is, what a great deal is, what a bad deal is. Because if you can't clearly explain to me why this property is better than the one next door or a similar property down the street, you haven't done enough work. You haven't put in the time to get educated on this topic enough. And that is a failing with you. We talked about a job. We talked about credit. We talked about saving the down payment. We talked about educating yourself on the market and getting the knowledge about what a good rental property is. The last thing that you need is the mental toughness, the drive, the determination, the grit to be able to say to yourself that I know, even if I do all of the work to make sure that I'm buying a good rental property, and it looks to be good on paper, and I'm putting a tenant in who's passed my background check, who's passed the credit check, who interviewed well, who's made the security deposit, who paid their first month's rent, even if I take all of the necessary steps to set myself up for success as best as possible, there still remains the chance that the day after I close on the property, or the day after the tenant moves in, something bad could happen. A pipe can burst in an unforeseen storm. The roof could get ripped off by a tornado. Somebody could burn the place down. Somebody might shoot the place up in a freak drive-by incident. A tenant could end up getting divorced and decide not to pay again. There could be a domestic violence call and they split way. All of these things that you can't plan for still could happen. We do our absolute best to minimize and mitigate the risk profile. But at the end of the day, real estate investing is still an investment. And like any investment, it's not without some risk. So what you need to do is mentally prepare yourself for the fact that all of these bad things can happen. And when they do, you have a plan in place to deal with all of them. I have insurance for any major repairs. I've got a good property manager who can help me evict a poor or non-paying tenant. There's so many different ways that you can continue to work through a problem, but you have to accept that problems will come, and it could be day one. Or you could go 2 or 3 years and never have a problem, then have it all happen at one time suddenly. It's very frustrating when it does happen because, as the old adage says, when it rains, it pours. It seems to be true. Now, the overall arching theme of this video still comes back to the fact that a lot of these fake financial gurus out there, these real estate savants, will convince you that you can buy real estate with none of your own money or almost nothing down, and you can find these wonderful seller financing deals or creatively financed deals or subject to deals that you can go out there and you can make it work for yourself. But at the end of the day, it's very, very, very difficult to actually find a seller finance deal, to actually find a creative finance sub-to deal, to actually get a zero down deal. It's almost impossible. You're probably going to get told no 99 times to get told yes, or maybe even just maybe once. I've done so much work and I've been investing for so many years. And yes, I've done zero down. I've done $3,000 down with 0% interest on my payments until it's paid off. I have done it. It's just very, very hard to find. And again, you have not made the connections. You haven't done the networking. You haven't impressed enough people for those deals to even come to you yet when you're on number one. This is the key takeaway I want you to remember after you've watched this video. A lot of these people are speaking with the benefit of hindsight, but forgetting what it was like to be a new real estate investor like you. Because when you're at the 5-year mark, year one's a little fuzzy. When you're at year 10, 15, 20, your first 5 years are a little fuzzy. When you're at year 30 of investing, your first decade is a little fuzzy. And they forget how hard it was, how uncertain you were, how much it mattered to not have a reputation, how much it mattered to not have the connections built in a real estate investing market, how much it mattered to not have the confidence that what you were buying was actually going to work because you hadn't done it yet, versus somebody who's now done it 100 times. All of these things matter when it comes to being successful investing in real estate. So while you can buy with no money down, while you can do complex strategies like the BRRRR strategy and recycle your capital and make it work, it's very hard to do that day one. And a lot of people say, well, what's the secret formula? Where's the secret sauce? How do I skip to the end? How do I make myself move past all of that without putting in the work? And to that, I just tell you, that's not how life works. Doing a push-up, going to the gym once, taking one lap around a track is not going to build you into an Olympic athlete or make you a bodybuilder. You have to spend months and years and decades honing and training and developing the skills to be able to do something like that. So stop looking for shortcuts to skip to the end, and instead look for where your first step is on the ladder of opportunity that is real estate investing, and start your climb and accept that it's going to take a while for you to work your way up to the top. There are no shortcuts on the path to success. All that you can do at the end of the day is try your best to work hard and stay dedicated to your cause. Keep that goal in your mind and off in the future for you to look at and work towards. And if you never give up, you're going to be successful. Appreciate you guys, as always, for watching. Hope that this video was beneficial. And hey, we'll catch you next time.